I am unashamed. What about you?
So welcome back to Unashamed. We've had quite the week.
Oh yeah,
It's been
it's only been a few days since we were here, but a lot has happened.
And a lot has happened. We did some extra podcasts this week because we're trying to kind of work through the holiday situation. So put us in the room together a lot more, which is a blessing. I mean, it's good stuff.
I did want to send my condolences. I saw you and Willie, picture of you and Willie, Jase, hold each other, hugging and crying.
Yeah, y'all thought that was funny. Fake news is alive and well. Some degenerate out there
I think it's a bot. I don't even think it's a real
under
person.
the captivity of the evil one, put some kind of blurb that I couldn't even pick up because I can't get into the social media world due to password.
It came from me. One of my kids sent it to me, and it was one of these fake Facebook things. And it was a picture of mom in a hospital bed, near death, of course. We've been doing the near deaths now for a while.
Well, that's all I saw when you sent it to me.
But in the back corner is Willie and Jase. And how they did this, I don't know.
Because I've never been in that position in my life.
Even solo, right?
No, it's never happened. Not only is it fake, that position has never happened where we're face to face.
They're like beard to beard. They're both crying, and they're in a sweet embrace of.
But they got but the picture is best. You know, it's AI because it's like mascara is running. But they don't. Yeah, it's like y'all were wearing mascara and you started.
And it's not even really mom. It's not mom. It's
see, now that we're talking about it, other people are going to go and
they will,
lead
which
them
is
to a lie,
which is unfortunate.
None of this was true.
But here's the thing, Jay. Some people saw this and wondered if it was true. So we're clarifying that.
There's a lot of lessons. You're spending way too much time on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
If you're believing this stuff, you're an idiot. Which I know because 3 or 4 people sent me texts asking about mom, and now
you know why.
Yeah, that's it. And Missy said the same thing. She's been in Nashville. She come back. She was like,
"Well,
the irony, there's some fake news out there."
The irony is that this comes out, and mom's actually doing the best she's done in months.
Oh, in a year.
Yeah, she's so good. She's so doing so well that she came to church yesterday for the first time in a long time.
Well, that's good.
Which was awesome. Everybody got to see her. She's still working on her mobility, so she was in a wheelchair, but she was happy. I preached yesterday, and so she was excited about being there for that. And it was just all her little friends came over and surrounded her and sat with her. It was really a special day. So the irony was that came out the same day, and my kid showed it. I will say this: the only Jase, because Jase doesn't like it at all, but it made me laugh so hard because the idea of the two of them cheek to cheek is just. That would never happen. It's just that's what makes it so
good. That was good. I did enjoy that.
I sent it to Zach. I sent it to Maddie just for fun, but
we all got a good laugh out of it.
We did.
No, not we all. No.
Jase found it not funny.
No, I find nothing humorous about that whatsoever. And I would probably say that if there was ever going to be a lightning strike to whoever masterminded that. I mean, I think that's getting struck down material. I really
Zach, is it wrong that the less he likes it, the more it makes me laugh?
The more funny it is. I mean, it really.
I don't like to laugh at evil behavior, but.
Oh man! Well, I gotta go.
I mean, I'm tempted just to
somebody take a drink because I'm getting my tissues out.
Take a drink. Everybody's wearing their poncho shirts today, by the way. Jase, did you get a new one? You had to go down a size to your medium. Is that a medium?
Zach, I want to break something down for you. I quit shopping before I ever started.
I've been wearing these a while, and so they are sponsoring us. So
you and Willie were telling me how great they were for a while. So now Jason and I get to experience them, which is
that's
great.
all Willie wears now.
Right.
Well, having said that, it is a comfortable shirt.
Very comfortable.
And so, look.
And look, it's the as they say, Zach. It is the season where you're looking for something to buy, for your man, for your son, for somebody in your family. So it's definitely a great time in the gift giving season to check out Poncho Outdoors.
Well, speaking of gifts, so you're not gonna believe what happened to me. I go treasure hunting last Thursday. I had a rare day off, Al.
I know it.
So I went treasure hunting. Well, my friends at Garrett had sent me a new detector that it's one that I have my name on. So, but they sent me a new one. I was like, okay. So I go out. Well, the settings, the factory settings or whatever, they are what they are. So I thought I'll just try this, and I go out there, and I just put a whooping on my party as far as fines. One Murray Crow and Randy, the redneck, is what we affectionately call him.
And Murray is your mentor. He's the one that got you into it.
And look,
They got you into it.
And it's usually about even. And the last time we went out, they found more than I did. So this was a little unusual.
Yeah.
And I think the spot had something to do with it. But they had already hunted for a couple of hours before I got there because I had little man that morning. And so I was late getting there. But I found one little spot that I found about 8 or 10 buttons. I'll post a picture here for you that are watching that you can see this. And I found like a war nickel, a silver nickel. I found a 1893 Indian head. But some of these buttons were spectacular. A couple of Civil War buttons, and you see there's gold on a couple of them, so it's awesome. So when I was coming home, I thought, I think this new detector, maybe they've enhanced the software. I was thinking it's just the detector.
Yeah.
And so fast forward to yesterday, after the sermon and all that, I had to go pick up our Nicaraguan daughter, Karina, at the airport.
She's in for the week?
She's in for the week,
awesome.
Which is all because all my family are trickling in because it's the holidays.
The trickle begins.
Cole's here. He had his gun, and he's ready to go duck hunting before church. And I'm like, no, we're not going. We went yesterday, opening day, and we'll tell you about that, which was a special day. But and so I decided to go to my old home place, our estate out there that we've turned into a bed and breakfast log town. Which I've hunted hundreds of times, because I'm thinking, I got this new detector, and I really think maybe,
you had success with it, so now you're thinking.
I may find something that I missed with the former version of this, is what I was thinking. Then I only had an hour. I walk out there in my front yard. I have hunted here hundreds of times, and other people have. There's nothing left out there, in my mind. And I dug up a few big nails, and because I'm digging up all signals, and all of a sudden my detector goes off, and out pops this little round thing. It wasn't like a high coin signal, which is what shocked me. But it was green because it just had so much corrosion on it, and just a film of green, whatever that is.
Right. So this Christmas, as we celebrate the gift of life, you have the opportunity to share that same gift with a mother and her baby. Imagine a young woman facing an unplanned pregnancy, feeling alone and unsure of what to do. She's searching for hope, and that's where Preborn Ministries comes in. Steve Jobs, Andrea Bocelli, Steph Curry, Jack Nicholson, Celine Dion, Oprah, all unplanned pregnancies, and so many others. Maybe you were unplanned too. I have no doubt that you know someone who was unplanned. God's plan of redemption often works in the unplanned. When a woman is struggling to make a life-altering decision, Preborn Network of Clinics is there. Every mother Preborn serves faces a moment of decision when she sees her baby's ultrasound. In that sacred moment, she has the opportunity to say yes. There are babies in their mother's wombs who need our help right now. As the year comes to a close, your tax-deductible donation can be the difference between life and death. Would you consider a leadership gift to save babies in a big way? Your gift of $5, $10, or $15,000 will be used to save countless babies for years to come. To donate, dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby. Or donate securely at preborn.com/unashamed. preborn.com/unashamed.
And so I start getting a stick, and here I go. And I'm cleaning it up as I go. Well, the more I clean, the more I start seeing silver emerge on the sides, and I think this may be a silver coin. And then I could see a hole in it where I know what that means. Usually, back in the 1800s, if it's a silver coin, they would drill a hole in it and wear it as a necklace. And it was pretty close to where I'd found a Spanish real, but it just didn't feel like one of those Spanish reals. But I thought that's what it was. So I finally get it where I can take a picture of it. I sent it to my expert because some writing emerged on it. And my expert said, I think he said, I'm not sure what that is. And look, I've been doing this with this guy for about 10 years.
And he always
This is
knows.
the first time he said, I'm not sure what that is. He said, it looks like an Austrian caruser or something like that. So I started looking up Austria, but it didn't feel right. So when I get home, I clean it better. And that's all I had to go on. So my son Cole's there. He gets the magnifying glass. He's got better eyes than I got. And as we continued to clean this thing, he could read all the letters. So I typed in all the letters around it. And up pops a 1750-something coin from Germany. And I brought the coin. It's hard to see without a magnifying glass, but it probably looks a little green there. But I have a close-up once I cleaned it. But check that out.
It's a German coin?
German Prussian.
So how did it get
Prussian.
here?
No, it's a German Prussian. They made it from 1750 to 1840. So here's the question.
It's so thin.
What is that doing in my yard?
Yeah.
Now, I get it.
Somebody was wearing
They got
this.
the land grant in 1780, and I'm in the place in my yard that was a blacksmith shop where all the iron is.
Yeah.
And so they were doing some work, and somebody had a necklace, and a fight broke out about Germany in 1780 or whatever, and dropped this coin. But you wouldn't believe how thin this is.
It's very thin.
It's 250 years old.
That's amazing.
One of the finer finds, even though it is in terrible condition.
Yeah.
But if you look at it through a magnifying glass,
You can see it.
You're like, oh, wow. And the picture.
I had another question. You said, how did it get there? There's the other question that everybody's asking is what? How much is it worth?
In this condition, not much. But to me, it's priceless.
Yeah.
I mean, because when you pick it up, Al, could you see any identifiable?
Nothing. It just is,
you can barely see the writing on the sides of it, with the reading glasses. Under a microscope, you can read the whole thing. But
That is weird.
you can definitely see the hole in it.
Well, I'll show you like the picture, Al, that I took, the last one, once I cleaned it as far as I was comfortable. It really pops out, and you can see it.
Oh, yeah. Then you can read all the letters.
Oh, you can read all the letters.
I can't even see that with the naked eye.
I'll put that on there. But so look, anyway, so I called my guys at Garrett, and I was like, what did you do to this machine? Because now I'm finding German coins. I'm out doing my buddy. It was like,
Because you've gone over that spot before and didn't pick it up.
I've walked over that spot 50 times.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And they said, oh, we've changed nothing. They said, you must have changed your settings. And we concluded that I had turned up my sensitivity on my machine.
Yeah.
And that was the trick for my... So
Well, I've been waiting for you to tell another story because I've been doing a little advanced study for when we get to 1st, 2nd, 3rd John. And one of the guys that I'm reading had talked about how the Bible study was like it takes effort to get there. And he mentioned this verse, and you may have read it before. I'm sure you have, but I didn't remember it. But it's from Proverbs 2. It says, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, if you look for it as for silver and a search for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. So I thought that was interesting that Solomon laid that out, that exactly what you just described is the same way we should approach the Word of God and understanding, which I thought was
Well,
pretty
there's so many references to, Jesus made the same references. I mean, think Luke 15
right.
and the lost coin.
Right.
But what's so fascinating about that story is, which I hadn't noticed for the first 30 years of my Christian life, is it's this concept of heaven rejoicing, earth rejoicing heaven and earth rejoicing together, and hey, if that's causing a celebration, and Jesus is using that as an illustration for joy, might ought to give it a try. I mean, I'll put it in the category like duck hunting, because usually we duck hunt every day,
right?
But this year we have weird conditions where it's a drought. I mean, today's the first day it's rained.
There actually is a little liquid.
It's a drizzle, but in a month, and the river is way low. So we had opening day Saturday, and Al, that was kind of special.
It was. And we had told you guys in the last podcast we were going to do this, and we did it. And I don't know if I said it in the last podcast, but I had sort of sent a challenge out. I knew Jase would be there opening day, but I'd sent a challenge out after Dad crossed over that I was going to be in the blind opening day. And so I was like, so I sent it to Willie and Jep. I said, it would be awesome if like all the brothers were together, because we hadn't been together in a blind. None of us can remember the last time, because there's probably been 3 of us at any given time, but all four.
I mean, I think probably go back to when we were teenagers.
I mean we're talking about a long time.
Early 20s.
So it was the 4 of us, and it was Uncle Si. And Si hadn't been hunting much because of his condition of, with his breathing. He can't do a lot of moving around.
But he's doing a lot better, so don't put some weird post out there. Me and Willie.
Y'all crying.
More
the 4
hugging
brothers hugging and crying.
And then, of course, Stone, who's my son-in-law, you guys know, was there, because Stone is kind of the nerve center of the whole operation. You can't hardly hunt without Stone anymore, because he knows where.
All the people you just listed, somebody's got to help me do some work.
That's right.
Which was me and
Decoys
Stone.
had to go out. Motion things had to be put in motion. So we hunted.
We wondered if Willie was going to make it, and apparently he did make it, because I saw at least he made it for the picture.
He was there. He was there for at least 2 hours.
No, he was. I mean, I got there early, and he was already there.
He was the first one that I got there. We were supposed to be there at 5. We were leaving at 5:30, which usually means I wondered who would be the first one there. I never thought it'd be Willie. When I got there at 5, Willie and Si were already there. And Si's always early, but Willie said now he's an old man, Zach. So he said he had just been somewhere. Dave Ramsey said they get up every morning at 4:45, so I started getting up early with him on this trip.
I assumed he had never slept. I didn't ask him. I just figured, the only reason he's here, he hadn't slept.
Actually, he had gone to bed at 8:30 the night before.
Well, he told me, because I was with him in San Diego, and they arrived at San Diego, and I thought, well, let's go grab dinner. Let's go do something. It was about, 8 o'clock. And he said, no, I'm actually about to go to bed.
Yeah.
And I said, at 8 o'clock? He said, well, yeah, I've been hanging out with these guys, and they go to bed at 8:30. I got rejected, for dinner, because he was going to go to bed.
Well, Willie
at
may get back into duck hunting, because the one thing that he had always not done it was because he didn't like getting up early. That was he likes to deer hunt because he can do that later in the day.
If you guys are freaking out right now about your credit card bill after the holiday spending, I've got something that can save you money right now. It's called Pure Talk. You can cut your cell phone bill in half by switching to Pure Talk's Saver Plan. Listen, it's just $20 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on Pure Talk's super fast nationwide 5G network. And as a veteran-led company that cares about giving back to those who serve, if you are an active or former military or first responder, you will save an additional 25% off every month. The easiest way to free up cash flow is to reduce your monthly recurring bills. So start with cutting your overpriced wireless and switching to my wireless company, Pure Talk. I made the switch to Pure Talk, and it was super easy. You can do it in as little as 10 minutes. I use the service. I've been using Pure Talk. I travel all over the country, and I never get a drop call. I mean, this is really, it's top-tier network. It's the same as the big guys. They make it easy for anyone who wants to start saving today. You can keep your number, you can keep your device, or let Pure Talk get you a whole new setup. I love these guys. I love their heart for our veteran community, and you can be on Pure Talk. Go to puretalk.com/unashamed to make the switch today in as little as 10 minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month. That's puretalk.com/unashamed, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, America's wireless company.
But we had a blast. It was fun, and our expectations were super low. Jase just described the setting. Most of us expected not even fire a shotgun. and we wound up killing 7 ducks.
Well, and 8. There was one that
really?
went way down. Oh yeah,
You found it?
Yeah. So
I got a question about your duck hunt though, because I wasn't there. I just saw the pictures. The outfits, it looked like people were. And not everybody's wearing camo. It was like, I was like, Phil was real particular about all that kind of stuff, and it's like he's gone.
It was a lot more
just
loose than with Dad. I will say.
I was
that.
like, Jeff's got on a blue shirt, a blue. I mean, I was like,
I thought Jeff was wearing, when I walked up to Jeff, I was like, man, you got some fancy waders there. I thought he had some of those trout waders that we wore in Alaska that are kind of grayish blue. But it was some kind of tracksuit he was wearing with high boots. So it
was just his outfit. Well, I anticipated that, Zach, because these my brothers have turned into yuppies. So
we've been out of practice.
Look, there was so much brush on that blind.
Yeah,
I planted trees in front of it that they had to shoot through. So I didn't care if they wore, because I anticipated somebody wearing like hunter's orange or, but I knew you weren't coming, Zach, so I thought maybe that won't happen.
Yeah, Zach would have had his Elmer Fudd hat on the head.
Al's got on gray.
I had on camo.
None of y'all. The only 3 out of the 6 that look like they're hunters. The picture I'm looking at is Jase, and Si, and everybody else is like.
You just stated the obvious.
But they're the only people that hunt.
You had the real hunters, and then you had the fake hunters.
Well, let me just add this in as a caveat for me, Willie, and Jeff. I can't speak for Willie because he should have it somewhere, but they also are the only ones getting sponsored gear anymore. I'm digging back in tubs that I hadn't dug into in 10 years.
That's true. Stuff. They got their Jase got on.
They're still like connected to the company and all the cool stuff, so I don't have that anymore.
And Jeff's wearing I'm looking at it right here. He's got on blue, but he's got on Duck Commander gear, but it looks like it's blue or gray with some purple boots. I don't know what's going on.
I think he's going through a midlife hunting crisis, but
he rode down with you and back with me, so I had to get.
So don't bury the lead, though. What's fascinating, we said a prayer. We talked about Phil carrying on his legacy.
We told a lot of really cool dad stories because we were filming some of it for Duck Commander too. So I think it's on Duck Commander's website if you want to go check it out.
What's crazy is we had a few wood ducks come in for the first 30 minutes, which is kind
exciting,
of
sporty,
unusual, but. 2 came in on mine and Si's side, and Si shockingly shot pretty good. Yeah. He's shooting a 20 gauge.
The first one, he shot 1 duck and 4 decoys on the first swipe.
But he shot at his on the right, and we both missed the first shot. Boom, boom. But then he, out of the corner of my eye, saw he killed his on the second shot. Well, my second shot, I addled the duck, so I was getting closer. And then he was coming on the left side of the blind, so he's nowhere in front of the blind. But we had a cameraman, which was my excuse for not shooting as well as I normally do. I'm literally having to shoot around the cameraman.
And he was low, but he was right next to you.
He was, and I was like, if I can hit this duck, this will be a spectacular scene because...
Although you might ring his ears...
And so he had said, I got ear protection, so just go for it. So the third shot, boom, and he folded just right. I mean, it looked like I was watching the movie being made, but I was shooting. Right. I was participating because I could see.
Because you had a GoPro in the blind, then you had an outside shot.
And I could see the cameraman. And so, that duck, we didn't go pick up immediately, but about 30 minutes later, the cameraman went out and got that duck, and it had a band.
Yeah. Which actually, so the first duck killed of the day, or close to the first, was actually a banded duck, we took that as a sign that this was a blessing that we should be doing. That was a great sign.
And for y'all who don't know what that means, the government puts what we call jewelry. It looks silver, but it's not because it is the government.
Yeah.
And
some kind of alloy.
They put a number, and that you turn the number in, and they give you this nice little certificate and tells you where the duck was from.
And it's how they track migration patterns is the purpose behind it.
And it's how they buy duck holes. So if you keep turning in the same number, the same place, they'll show up in your yard.
Right. It'll turn into a sanctuary.
No, I don't know that for a fact. I don't want the government to come get me. But I'm just saying that would make sense,
Well, that was one of the stories that Willie told was so funny. I hadn't thought about it in years. but he was saying Dad used to tell it. We were younger, and Dad was much more suspicious about game wardens and all that from his bad years. So when we were all young, he would give us this whole speech, usually opening day, and it'd be like, the game warden shows up. Here's my duck stamp. Here's my license, and nothing else. You give no information, nothing extra. You don't tell them what we're doing. You don't tell them what we saw. You don't tell them what you're drinking this morning. You don't tell them anything.
Well, in your sermon yesterday, which was excellent, Al, you made that reference about Phil's idea of heaven was cypress swamps and the earth in its original form, no power lines, and you can shoot ducks and fish, and there's not a game warden around because there's no game warden's going to be in heaven, boys.
That was his opening line.
But then he
would,
I mean, it was a joke, but the game wardens,
I did that as my opener, and I said, so maybe if that's all true, somehow without a body, Dad may be having a better opening day than we did.
Yeah.
That was kind of my open.
No, it was good, Al. Your energy was more than normal, which was good. It was
it was one of those things, Jase, because it's been a long week. We did a lot of podcasts this week. I spoke at CR on Friday night, and that place just gives you energy. But it's like when we do an event. I tell Lisa all the time, you got a long line of people selling books or whatever, meeting people to meet and greet. And I always I want the last person in the line to have the best experience because they waited in a line to meet you. And I'm thinking, I don't want to I'm tired because we're all doing this and taking pictures over and over, but I'm I don't want them to suffer because, it's at the end of the line. So I felt that way about the sermon. So I've been praying all week. I was like, give me supernatural energy to deliver this. And it wasn't hard because I was in Acts 2 and the power of the gospel is seen through the lives of those first believers. And man, if that doesn't get you fired up, I don't know what would get you fired up anyway. And
y'all were doing a series about the Acts 2:42.
It's called Forever Family.
Where they devoted themselves, the apostles' teaching, the fellowship, the breaking of bread, the prayer. Everyone's filled with awe. Many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. All the believers were together and had everything in common. Where was your section?
Yeah, my section was 44 through 47A.
Yeah, selling their possessions and goods. That was where you started.
Right.
They gave to anyone as he had need. Every day they continued to meet together in temple courts. They broke bread in their homes, ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of the people, and the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved.
So I had the middle section of that, and that was what I was assigned. So I had to talk about that text. The hard part for me was, since I'm number 3 or 4 in a line of sermons about that text, I couldn't help but kind of jump out and give the whole bigger picture of what it was about.
Well, I think that's what we should do on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I kind of used
it's a celebration of the new creation, which is what
the
Sunday should represent.
I did a little kind of alliteration thing about, because when I looked at that text, I thought, man, that's that we're in the light. I used the word glow, which then took me. But I was like, you can't glow unless you know.
Oh, Al, you know who I thought of what was the politician / preacher?
Jesse Jackson.
You went Jesse Jackson. Look, hey, Zach, Al's points were you got to glow, you need to grow so you can go.
It all starts with who you know. That was the.
It all starts with who you know. I thought Al's turned into Jesse Jackson.
So we just got done with one of our holidays. We're headed into Christmas now. We got done with Thanksgiving, and I had the in-laws in town, and my father-in-law likes to mess with me. So he asked my son, Fred, what would make your dad mad? And he said, hide his blanket. So he took the bubble cuddle blanket. You have it on right now, don't you, Jase?
Yeah. You go from Thanksgiving to Thanksgiving.
There you go. That's good. I was pretty upset. I'm looking for the blanket.
Jase looks like a Russian oligarch wearing that.
I'm telling you, it is well worth it. I mean, I cover up with this thing every night when I'm on the couch chilling out. until my father-in-law hides it and messes with me. But look, we love Cozy Earth bamboo sheets. We love the pajamas. We've all got the pajamas. But the one probably gift that I've loved, the one Cozy Earth gift that I would probably want to give the ones I love is that blanket that Jase has. But any of their stuff is amazing. You got to do it. Their sheets, pajamas, the blankets are all incredibly soft. Cozy Earth makes every day feel like a special occasion. And with a 10-year warranty and a 100-night trial, you really can't go wrong. But there's no way you're going to want to return these, I'm telling you. So give the gift of everyday luxury and make everyday moments comfortable. Head on over to CozyEarth.com. Use our promo code Unashamed for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention that you heard about Cozy Earth right here on the Unashamed podcast. Give the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holidays and carries you into a cozy new year. CozyEarth.com, code Unashamed. What's interesting about that passage you were in, I was with, when I was in San Diego, I had dinner with this couple that they're part of a Anabaptist movement in, I want to say upstate New York, but very interesting people. But they have taken that verse very literal and very serious. They are, it's like 3,000 people that are a part of their church, okay? And this thing's been going on since the 1912 or something. This particular group, they moved from Germany. They went from Germany to England and then settled, I think, in the U.S. in the early 1900s. So they've been at this a while, but I was really shocked by the whole thing. But they have a shared general purse, so they live it out. They're like nobody. The whole community, nobody gets paid. Everybody puts money. They all work, but the money goes into one central deal, and then everybody's taken care of. Everybody's. I mean, they kind of living that out. It's really interesting to me. These Anabaptists that have taken this that.
And there's been other communities that have practiced that, Amish and a lot of other people, and different things. There's different kind of things that go with each group in a modern sense. But I do see where the idea comes from, which is not bad for a community because obviously we live in some place. And so you have that community of where you live. But the only problem I see is that with the mindset there is that's why I hit the thing at the end about you got to go, because the idea is it's real easy to get self-absorbed as a community. Because you got to realize we're trying to reach the whole world with the message. So
that's why it's so confusing, I think, in the Bible, like in the New Testament. Because people, it's a legitimate question saying, well, why do you meet on Sunday? Because in Acts...
they were meeting every day.
Well, right. There's one obscure verse in chapter 20 and verse 7. But, it might have just been the first day. It's not like he was making a point about it. And they mainly met on the Sabbath, and then these apostles would come in there and share Jesus. That's what's happening.
Exactly.
And so
they were kind of meeting out of necessity when they could, too. Like if they had somebody there that was coming through, especially as you get into the epistles, it was like when Paul would roll in and he, like one instance, he preached all night. He was like, hey, I ain't going to be here for long.
Yeah, well, in one of my internet Bible studies I have going on, that this guy made this point. He was like, well, we should be meeting on the Sabbath because that's what they did in the book of Acts. And I responded just off the top of my head. I was like, so let me get this right. Let's say every Friday night, because you had preached to Celebrate Recovery, I go to the local bar and share Jesus, which would be acceptable in doing Jesus style, reaching out and sharing.
Right.
And it has success. There's a few of them, because I'm pretty sure if I went to the bar every Friday night and shared, there might be one or two that would say, hear the story, because it's not me. Right. It's the powers in the message, to your point.
And I can almost guarantee you there's going to be a few people in that setting. The reason they're there is their life's probably not going so well.
Well, right.
So they would be looking for something.
Let's say I do this every week, a long period of time, and we develop a church from it, from sharing Jesus. So do you conclude, well, we need to start meeting in bars?
Yeah.
To me, that's the point, because I'm like, they were meeting on the Sabbath, but then the apostles were coming in and sharing Jesus, and it wasn't going well.
That's a great point.
They were pushing back. So I think when you're viewing the Bible as a rule book.
Yeah.
These are the things you get into.
Yeah.
Because so to his point, which was a valid point, he's like, well, the church or Christianity just made this up, meeting on Sunday. And I'm like, yeah, I think they did.
Yeah.
Because on Sunday, it launched a new creation. Jesus was
First
raised
day of
on
the
a
week.
Sunday. So I think that's that. The other thing of this that stands out is they were meeting in homes, which I still think is a good thing.
Good thing.
As part of your, what would you call it?
Well, I made it the point,
overall
Zach, out of
theme.
that it really was a temple transition. I mean, these first Christians, all they had ever known was the temple. So, of course, that's where they're going to go. That's where their whole link to God had always been. But then you see that transition even starting in right there, where not only were they meeting at the temple, but they were also meeting in their homes.
Yeah, exactly.
The temple transition was happening right there in the moment. And then by the time you get to
and then a few years after that, they weren't meeting in the temple because that thing got burned.
it got burned to the ground. And
Well,
look, Zach, to
exactly.
your point about Acts 8, whenever Jesus had told them to scatter, but look, things were so exciting and dynamic, nobody wanted to leave Jerusalem.
That's true.
Until guess what happened? Persecution broke out big time, and then guess what happened? They had to go.
And the persecution that broke out because somebody said something about the temple, which is named,
yeah.
a guy named Stephen.
That's
They
exactly
killed
right.
him, and then the church. Yeah, it is interesting how God works that way. And we had at our church, Jill had she does a thing a couple times a year where all the women from our area come and they do like a big worship night and prayer, and this time they had testimonies and. It was. We've been in the book of Exodus for the last. I don't know. I just wrapped Exodus this Sunday, so we're actually moving.
Did
out
you
of Exodus.
barnstorm your way out of Exodus? Did you lead them out of the slavery yesterday?
I let them out. I let them out of slavery
To the promised
land and to the but the whole.
Did you
book
have
of
some
Exodus-
alliteration in yours? Did you go Jesse Jackson like
No,
I
I can't. You know what? I try to preach that way. I can't.
did? Just
do
not
it.
your style.
I'm more like Jase.
Yeah.
Me and Jase have very similar styles.
You do. That's why
and
y'all
probably-
clash so much.
Well, you know what? Growing up, I mean, when I was like cutting my teeth on the Bible, Jase was my favorite preacher, and I always loved when he would preach because he would. He still does this. He does it when he tells stories in this podcast. You don't know where he's going. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great storyteller. So you're hanging on, but I'm like, how is this? And then somehow he'll go for 30, 40 minutes, and then that's that last 4 minutes. It's like he ties it all together. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was it.
Oh wow! So that's kind of how I teach.
Yeah.
I tied all in at the end. But what was interesting about this event that Jill had, they had a moment of response. There's 300 women in the church, and they have a moment for prayer response, for people to meet with God. And one of the little girls there, her name is Mabel. Jill was telling me later about this. She said she had gone in the back, and I didn't know we had this at our church, but apparently we have a model of a tabernacle in the kids' wing when they teach the kids. It's like a model. And so she goes back there, Mabel, and she steals the Ark of the Covenant, just like the Philistines. And she's trying to get to the front of the church when they're responding. She said, I got to get this Ark of the Covenant on the stage. Like these people are looking for the Lord. And she's like, I got to get this on the stage. And I was so moved.
She was turning back the clock, wasn't she?
But I was like, I preached on it Sunday. I said, it's so funny. She got it so wrong, but she got it so right. The faith of a child. Just like I know that they're looking for God's presence, and I've been listening to these sermons, and God's presence is on top of that Ark of the Covenant, on that mercy seat. I got to get this thing on the stage. I thought, man.
And what's funny is if she had y'all left it in there this week, somebody could have come in and put something else in front of it, and when y'all came back, it would be all busted up all over the floor.
I worried about that. I said, we're not Philistines here. So I told her parents, I said, you probably will be called in for church discipline just because your daughter literally stole the Ark of the Covenant out of the.
Well, it was a
room.
neat ending yesterday, and you probably didn't get to see this, Jase, because I don't know where they end it when they live stream it. But there was a man there with his family, and he had sent a note, I think through Bonnie, your assistant, that he was wanting to get baptized by one of the Robertsons if he could. And he was like, I know it doesn't matter who it is. Well, he said the right thing, and it doesn't, by the way. And he said, these guys have made a huge impact in my life. I'm ready to change my life. and we're going to be coming through at some point. And so I just sent a note back and said, well, I'll be there 23rd. I'll be preaching. I don't mind. I don't know Jase's schedule. And so he was there yesterday, he and his family, and he's from Texas. And I recognized him right off, and he had been to Jersey's class. So, Jersey goes through the gospel every Sunday. He kind of does what Dad did. And went over and met he and his family, and he's like, "No, this is brand new. We don't even have a church, nothing." He said, "But you guys have impacted me, and I'm ready to get this going." He had 3 kids with him and his wife, and Felipe is his name. And so I baptized him afterwards, and it was really cool because I was like, "Well, this sermon was for you, dude." I said, "You realize now what you got to do." I said, "This is your introduction to Jesus. Here's what you got to do." But afterwards, we had a prayer and stood in a circle. And it was just a really cool experience because I told his kids, I said, "Now look, your dad, he's brand new." I said, "So he's gonna stumble his way through trying to figure this out." And they're just looking at me like their eyes are locked in. I said, "But you got to be his biggest supporters. You got to be on board. You guys when you get involved in some community where you guys live, because they live in the Austin area." I said, "We'll help you guys find a good church, a good grace-based church." And they just were looking at me. I said, "Y'all think y'all are up for the challenge?" And all 3 of them said, "Yes, sir."
Well, it reminds you of our childhood, Al.
Well, that's what I thought about it, because I had mentioned Dad, the same way. And I thought, we were this family at one point,
Yeah, you just always remember, speaking of, wasn't it Jesse Jackson? Sounds like something Jesse Jackson would say when he said, some rhyme, when he said, "The most important thing you can do is not give your kids presents, but be present."
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Either have them in your presence or whatever. Since I guess we developed a thing. I was looking up a while ago that there was some rhyme, but the AI said it was Muhammad Ali. I thought it was Jesse Jackson. But where he said,
Ali was another
rhymer. If your mind can conceive it and your heart will believe it, then you will work hard to achieve it. Which it's so reminded me of Al yesterday with the glow. Which I actually thought that Al, did you just come up with that off the top of your head?
Did.
I mean, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're going to be reading Dr. Seuss books, but you can figure out where that.
Well, that's one of my favorite all time. Jesse Jackson. He was on Saturday Night Live 30 years ago, and he was reading Dr. Seuss. And it was so funny because the joke is that this man speaks like Dr. Seuss. And so he did this whole thing, and then some guy from Saturday Night Live was on there with him, and he said, "This guy not only denies the allegations, he denies the alligator." But look, a brother that used to be here years ago that has moved on, he sent me this weekend. It was perfect timing. And it doesn't have any description or anything. He just sent it to me, Larry. God formed us. Sin deformed us. The Bible informs us, but Jesus transforms us.
So my holiday routine, guys, it's always the same thing when it comes to the gift time. I wait to the last minute. I panic. In the end, I'm just getting Jill to buy something for me, for the people that I got to buy gifts for. But this year, I skipped the panic. I went straight for the Aura frame. Jase, I think you said Missy's bought some of these that you guys have given to your grandparents.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they cackle because they want to be involved, especially when you got kids that are at a distance. You can watch them grow up right from your comfy couch.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because what you do is this thing, you get it's a frame and you get unlimited free photos and videos. All you got to do is download the Aura app and you connect it to Wi-Fi. And then you can preload the photos before it even ships. And then you can keep adding more photos from anywhere. So you can personalize your gift by adding a message before it arrives. And then you can share photos and videos effortlessly. And every frame comes in a premium gift box. So there's no price tag or anything like that you have to worry about. So for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using our promo code Unashamed at checkout. That's auraframes.com using promo code Unashamed. Now, this deal is exclusive to our listeners, and frames, they do sell out fast. So get yours now, order now, get it in time for the holidays, and support our show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
Well, what I was going to say about that presents, I mean, this in Acts, what you see is what I think we're acting like, oh, well, it can't be like this, but I think it should. I mean, it comes back to your house. What's going on at your house? What's going on at your workplace? When you're meeting together. We were raised in that environment because our parents were sharing Jesus with so many people. Just because of where we lived, we met in homes.
Yeah.
I mean, now we would Sunday morning all gather up, as Phil used to say, and meet with the brothers. That's how he framed it, which I think is a good
thing.
Good way, and it should be a celebration. But it's a lot of work when you have people in your home with the food that's being prepared. But it looked, our teenage years and early 20s looked a lot like this model. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Because people were hearing Jesus. I mean, I didn't tell you on my treasure hunt Thursday. So the group left me. I'm finding all this stuff, which I didn't conceal it. When I came up, and because I noticed they were all around their vehicles, and I said, look, I just found 3 buttons, and, I found a couple of wheat pennies, and they're like, no, we're going somewhere else, which is a treasure hunt temptation. You always think that somewhere over the rainbow there's the promised land. And I was like, well, I'm staying right here.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay. And so hours later, I'm way away from where I parked my truck. I'm in my own little world. I'm finding stuff. And I just looked up, and there's a guy, kind of scruffy looking, standing right in front of me in the middle of this field, half a mile from my truck. So I looked at my truck way off in the distance, and his truck is beside my truck. But I have earphones on, so, I didn't realize he was, but it scared me. And so you know what I do when I get scared?
Confront.
And I said, what's your story? That's a Phil line.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's got one.
And he didn't say much. He kind of mumbled something, and I said, if a man will walk half a mile, he bound to have a reason.
He's got to have something to say.
And he said, well, I know your daughter. He said, out at Camp Gioka. So I said, well, that was my next question. I said, are you a follower of Jesus? Well, he just looked at me. And I said, the hesitation is answering my question.
Yep.
And he said, well, I was going to say I'm kind of on the fence, but I've heard a preacher say that if you're on the fence, you're in the devil's pasture because there's no fence. He started preaching his own sermon.
And answering his own question.
What's funny is I only asked about 5 questions, and he did all the talking.
Yeah.
But it was more like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying, and I was like, well, what do you mean? What are you trying? What are you doing? He's like shaking his head. So I said, look, it's obvious the Lord sent you out here because you have no reason for being here.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I live here, and I thought that was you, and I just wanted to come see. And I was like, well, why didn't you just turn around and leave when you got confirmation? This is the way this conversation went. And so I just gave an overview the book of John. I said, do you have a Bible? He said, yes, sir. Then he started saying, sir, which I thought, okay, we've changed the dynamic here. I said, you need to go home and read that and figure out who Jesus is for yourself and go all in.
Right.
Because what's crazy about this is usually you're all in or you're all out. The stuff in between, we justify, we rationalize. I said, but I mean, all I did was ask you 3 questions and you didn't have a very good answer.
Yeah.
And I was equating that to when we stand before God, you should probably be able to articulate your position and view of the Son of God.
Yeah, where you are.
Yeah. And so he said, I'm going to do that. So I said, all right, well, here comes another one. Because I looked, here comes another guy. I thought, what is going on here? And he turned around and looked, he said, who's that? I said, I don't know, but I'm fixing to have the same conversation with him. Mm-hmm. So he left. Next guy comes in, but it actually was Murray's cousin because he saw a guy talking to me, and he thought, what's going on out there? And I was like, no, we just had a Jesus discussion. He was like, oh, good deal.
Yeah.
And he said, well, maybe I need to, look into the same thing. I said, I think so.
Which one of the camera guys named Hunter, He's been with us, I think, like 8 years, and we were talking about doing these dad stories in the blind and talking about how that, if you showed up in the blind, of course, first thing Dad would always say, are you a federal game warden? was the first ask. And then it'd be like, same deal. It'd be questions. And he said, yep, the first time I hunted with Mr. Phil, I had my camera, it was obvious he was one of our camera guys. And he said, we weren't 5 minutes in. And he said, well, son, do you know who Jesus is? He said, and then he gave me about a 30-minute gospel presentation. He said, of course, he said, I am a believer. I was. He said, I told you. He said, but I'm making sure.
You know what's funny about that story? I heard him say that in the blind.
Yeah.
Well, the other cameraman
wasn't?
Well, no. When he came and helped us put out the decoys.
Oh, okay.
And so he was riding with me in my amphibious vehicle.
Yeah.
We're out there on the water. And I looked at him.
The young kid.
The
intern.
young.
Yeah.
And I
Willie calls him the intern. It's classic dad.
I looked at him, and then in that moment, I realized, I don't know who this is. I've never seen this guy before.
Right. He's brand new.
But we're way into the process. Like, I didn't introduce myself. I just assumed he's a cameraman. I probably know him. But the more I looked at him, I thought, I don't know who this is.
He looks like he's about 12.
Yeah. So I said, I got a question for you. And he was like, yes, sir. I mean, he had his camera. I was like, you can put your camera down. This is not for filming. This is for you. I said, how'd you get here? And he said, well, I drove my truck. I said, no, I don't mean that. How did you position yourself in life to be sitting next to me? Because I just realized, I don't think I know you, do I? He said, no, sir. And he said, well, I sent an email to Duck Commander asking if there was any job openings, and they accepted it. I was like, well, where are you from? He said, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I was like, oh. I said, well, I got a question for you. And he said, what's that? I said, what is your standing with the Lord God Almighty?
Let's cut to the chase, Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, I would say good. He said, that's why I'm here, because I thought I would like to be mentored by doing something I love to do, which is the outdoors and filming by godly men. I said, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
I said, I think we're going to get along just fine.
Well, what a morning for him. I think his name is Drew.
Well, it was funny because I thought he might say something.
Yeah.
Of course, I said, now, what college did you go to? And he said, oh, I hadn't even graduated high school.
He looks very young. I was like, man.
You're in high school? He said, well, technically I'm done. He said, but I just got done. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, well, I knew you look young, but I just assumed.
He is young.
Yeah.
And Willie was just calling him the intern, Zach. He hadn't even given him a name yet. I guess he's waiting to see if he hangs around long enough. I asked him his name and actually remembered it. But I did say
that'll become his name. He'll just be the intern.
Oh, he will. For Willie,
forever.
he will be the intern forever.
Well, my whole point for telling that story, though, and going to, I mean, your lesson, what it really did, is it showed you this is a movement.
Yeah.
This is a movement for Jesus, and it's a daily occurrence.
It still goes.
You're having conversations about Jesus with people who you're not sure. There's no easy way to get into it. You just ask them a question. That's what Jesus did. He asked 3 times more questions than he was asked. And you get into things that matter. And it's amazing how people are ready to share where they're at. I mean, I just told you 2 different stories. One, I asked him a simple question.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is when I saw my daughter later, who's here, she showed me a picture. She knew who that guy was. She knew who he was. And when I just described him, I was like, well, somebody needed to talk to him about Jesus there. And she's like, well, you never know, Dad. And I was like, well, that's why you got to ask questions.
Exactly.
You had these kind of conversations. But this is more what the church should look like. And granted, we get together on Sundays, but that's in our culture seems to become the end of all. It's like, oh, I go to church, I need to get back in church. These kind of sayings are not useful or productive and not an accurate depiction of what's going on. I mean, this is happening every day in some capacity.
Well, and I will say this as we're out of time, as we wrap, Zach, you'll appreciate this. Yesterday's sermon was in that series, but I have in mind, because I'm up again in a couple of Sundays, we're starting a new series just for the month of December about the King. And so yesterday's sermon for me was a setup link to where I'm going, because I'm going to Hebrews 12. The idea, because now there's these protests, no kings, we don't want a king. Talking about Trump, and I understand the nature of their protest, but I'm going to counter-protest that, we need a king.
Yeah.
And he's already come. And so that's going to lead us into our Christmas season, I guess you'd call it, series.
I like that. The king has come.
The king has come. So that's my next one. So I was setting it up yesterday by the idea of this,
Well, make sure you get that Matthew 6, because the king has come to earth as it is in heaven.
Yes, exactly right. I've already got that written down. So anyway, that's it for now. We're out of time. We'll pick it up next time on Unashamed.
Thanks for listening to the Unashamed podcast. Help us out by leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And don't miss an episode by subscribing on YouTube. And be sure to click the little bell and choose all notifications to watch every episode.